put this nice content out for these viewers. Yeah. Hello, people. Hello, viewers. Oh yeah, people are viewers. That is true. Viewers are people and people are viewers. What am I saying? Anyway, hello, people. Another beautiful day. Yeah. Hope your 5 senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. What? All right. Oh, okay, you Steam Deck fans. All right, you portable PC fans. I got some news for you. Yeah, you. So you're messing with y'all. So what we got on the gaming front here? Gotta get this nice content out for the people and the viewers. Viewers are people. Wait a minute. No, viewers are people. People are viewers. They're all the same. Anyway, let me stop playing here. So you're messing around here. What do we got? What we got for these? We got for these nice folks, these nice viewers. Yeah, man. On a Monday morning. Yeah, Chris, where's the news? We want our news. Uh-oh. Wow, this one is pretty big. All right. UK government replies to petition. UK government replies to petition about requiring publishers to keep games working. Yeah, that goes double for you, Ubisoft. You're not exempt from the list. Anyway, we start playing here. Says here, recently I covered an interesting movement called Stop Killing Games. Video games is not the problem. It's you humans. Let me stop playing. Says here, which has an aim to bring light to the issue of publisher dropping support for turning off games that people paid for. Says this came about after Ubisoft decided to shut down the crew, so everyone who had purchased it got left with a game that no longer works due to their forced online requirement. This certainly isn't the first game to do it. There's been a good few games left broken over the years, and with now big the gaming industry is now, there will be more games shut by bigger publishers. Yeah. It says here, a petition was set up on the UK government official petition website. On here, when a petition hits 10,000 votes, the government has replied. If they hit 100,000, though, it's supposed to then be considered for an actual debate in Parliament. The petition closed on the 16th, October 24th. The petition has hit 17,426 signatures at the time of writing, and the UK government replied on May 2nd. The short version is, those selling games must comply with UK consumer laws. They must provide clear information and allow continued access to games if sold on the understanding that they will remain playable indefinitely. No game is marketed anywhere on being available indefinitely, and in the case of Steam, you're only buying a license, not ownership of the game. So this isn't likely to go much further until it can be pushed much harder. The full reply is much wordier and goes on to mention how there may be occasions where companies make a commercial decision based on high running costs of maintaining older servers for video games that have declined user basis. It says here, which is a valid point. Maintaining game servers does cost time and money, but that's not quite the point of the campaign argument. The point is these games with single player modes that have forced servers on connection are made so that there's no way for players to continue them. You're just left with nothing when the publisher decides to move on. And let's see here. Can I get through this? Try to make a video about this. Okay, what this is talking about. Okay, this has to do with Halo 1 on the original Xbox, because the game doesn't let you play against like bots, like offline, right? Halo 1, Halo 2, I think Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo 5. I think all the Halos But Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 4, the first one that was on the 360 and the PS3, and then Modern Warfare 2, and then Modern Warfare 3. You couldn't. You had to connect those games to a server to play online. You couldn't play them offline, like against the computer and like against like with bots. That's why in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, I think it was Advanced Warfare, Ghost, uh, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. You can play against the computer. You can play against the computer in a multiplayer match, and that's how first person shooters need to be. So this is talking about when you this whole entire article is talking about when you buy a game and it requires you to be online, and then you can't play the game offline once they close the server. And this is where the UK government comes in and trying to stop this. But this goes back on the developers though, because they should have never made first person shooters to where you have to connect it to a server just to play. Just to play multiplayer. They should have had the multiplayer where you can do local and you play against, let's say, someone that you know, like offline doing like a split screen, or you play against the computer, or you can do like a co-op again where the screen splits into four or two or whatever, and then go from there. But once they tried to force it where you had to be online to play like a certain multiplayer game. So when it came to like Call of Duty Ghost, not Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Black Ops, Advanced Warfare Ghost, Black Ops, they try to go back to the old ways of doing it, where like you could, they will if you want to play online, you got to go. You can go on the server and play, right? But like once they shut the servers down, once they shut the servers down, you can still play the game. So this is about like if you buy a game that's online only, but then the server goes off, you can't play the game offline. The UK government is trying to stop that. So they should have never. I like to play games online. Don't get me wrong. I love to play games online. But like once the server goes down, I should have another way of playing, which is local, and local multiplayer. If I want to play against a computer, where I can raise the setting of the computer, and then test my skills out that way. So yeah, so that's what this is talking about. But other than that, man, Ubisoft should have before they shut the server. What Ubisoft should have done now was when they were about to shut the crew server down, they should have put an update, like an expansion or an update to where once the server goes offline, you can still play the game. Let's say like how you would play, Forza Horizon 2 on the 360, like that offline. That's what they should have done. But anyway, and that way the games don't get killed. You can still play that game. The same rules should be applied to like, let's say Microsoft is like they're about to shut the servers down. So they really can't do it now since they got Game Pass. But let's say they decide to shut the servers down for like Forza Horizon 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, and 4. Let's say for Xbox One. Then they need to provide a way for people to play those games offline, like they did with Forza Horizon 2 on the 360. So yeah. So this is what this whole thing is talking about. This is talking about when you buy a game, it's for online only. But then when they shut the servers down, you can't play the game anymore. That ain't right. But anyway, let me get through this. It says here, Uh, the government recognized recent concern raised by video game users regarding the long-term operability of purchased products. Consumers should be aware that there is no requirement in the UK law compelling software companies and providers to support older versions of their operating systems. Software are connected products. They may be occasion. They may be occasions where companies make commercial decisions based on the high running costs of maintaining older servers for video games that have declined user base. However, video game sellers must comply with existing consumers laws, including the Consumer Right Act 2015 (CRA) and the Consumer Protection from Unfair Trading Regulation 2008 CPR. Says here CPRS requires information to consumers to be clear and correct and prohibit commercial practice which, through false information or misleading omission, cause the average consumer to make a different choice. For example, to purchase goods or service they would not otherwise have purchased. The regulation prohibits commercial practice which omits or hides information which the average consumer needs to make an informed choice. The prohibit traders from providing material information in an unclear, unintelligible, ambiguous, or unwittingly manner. If consumers are led to believe that a game will remain playable indefinitely for certain systems, despite the end of physical support, the CPRS may require that the game remains technically feasible, for example, available offline, which I just explained, to play under those circumstances. It says the CPR are enforced by trading standards and competition and market authority. If consumers believe that there has been a breach of these regulations, they should report the matter in the first instance to Citizen Advice Consumers Helpline on 0808 23.1133, and then it says citizenadvice.org UK. People are living in Scotland should contact Advice Direct Scotland on 0808 164 6000, and that's WW Consumer Advice Scott. Both helplines offer a free service advice consumers on their rights and how best to take their case forward. The helpline will refer complaints to trading standards, service where appropriate. Consumers can also pursue private what's that redress through the courts. Where a trader has provided misleading information on the products. The CRA gives consumers important rights when they make a contract with a trader for the supply of digital content. This includes required digital content to be satisfactory quality, fit for a particular purpose, and as described by earlier, it can be difficult and experienced business to maintain dedicated support for old software, or particularly if it needs to interact with modern hardware, apps, and website. But if software is being offered for sale that is not supported by the provider, then this should be made clear. Then it says here, if the digital content does not meet these quality rights, the consumer has the right to repair or replace of the digital content. If a repair or replacement is not possible or does not fix the problem, then the consumer will be entitled to some money back or price reduction, which can be up to 100% of the cost of the digital content. These rights apply to intangible digital content like computers, software, or PC games, as well as digital content in a tangible form like a physical copy of a video game. The CRA has a time limit of up to 6 years after a breach of contract, during if a consumer can take legal action. And then it says the standard outlined above applies to digital content where there is contractual rights of the trader or a third party to modify or update the digital content. In practice, this means that a trader or a or third party can upgrade, fix, enhance, and improve the feature of digital content as long as it continues to match any description given by the trader and continues to conform with any pre-contract information, including maintaining characteristics, functionality, and compatibility provided by the trader unless verified by express agreement. Then it says, consumers should also be aware that while there is a statutory right for goods, including intangible digital content, to be a satisfactory quality that will be breached if they are not the standard which a reasonable person would consider to be satisfactory, taking into account circumstance including the price and any description given. For example, a manufacturer's support for a mobile phone is likely to be withdrawn as they launch new models. It will remain usable, but without, for example, security updates. And over time, some apps developers may decide to withdraw support. Then it says Department Culture, Media, Sport. Then Gaming on Linux said this: there is no real good solution to this. Government inventions would likely be quite messy for the industry, especially for smaller developers. The better solution would be for big publishers to stop forcing online requirement for games that have single players, handing out server bills for players is an option too. Of course, lots and lots of games do that, and there's probably numerous other ways to handle this. That ain't just taking away what people pay for. The reality is, until people in mass stop buying games with those requirements, nothing will change. Look, that's the end of the article. Look, this problem started to me. This started with the. This started to me with the Xbox, with the original Xbox and Halo, where you had to, in order to do multiplayer, you had to do a system link. I remember going out to Concord, California, that is. I remember going out to Concord, California, and I played a 16-player match of Halo 1. We had four Xboxes, and we had 8 people in one room and 8 people in the other, and we were doing a system link multiplayer, and that was the way to play Halo. But I could also say it started with GoldenEye too, because with GoldenEye you couldn't play against the computer in a multiplayer match. You didn't start doing that until about, I think, what was that? Turok. I think it was Turok Rage Wars. That's when you start playing against the computer, if I can recall. Let's see, Turok 1, Turok 2, Turok. Okay, Turok 1, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil, Turok 3, Shadows of Oblivion, and then Turok Rage Wars. That was the multiplayer. That was the first, to me, on consoles. That was probably the first multiplayer shooter where you could play against the computer by yourself. And GoldenEye never had it. Turok 2 never had it. Even I don't think Turok 3 even had it. But then when you got to the PlayStation, like, okay, PlayStation 2 and Dreamcast, on Quake 3 and Unreal Tournament, you could play against a computer in a multiplayer match. But then when they got to the original Xbox, on Halo, you couldn't play against the computer. So, and that's when Microsoft first came in. But then on Unreal, I think Unreal Championship, you could play against a computer in a multiplayer match. So from that point on, you know, certain first-person shooters, they were requiring you to have to be on a server to play multiplayer, and that was like the only way. And it happened with I think with Halo 1, Halo 2, and then I think the Halos on the 360, and then with Call of Duty Modern Warfare, what was it, 4, and then Modern Warfare 2, and then Modern Warfare 3. You couldn't play against a computer in a multiplayer match. You had to be online, and it carried on from it. That was it. But then when they got to Call of Duty Advance, and then what was it? Ghost, and then you had Black Ops, and Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. And then you could play against. Then you could play against the computer, and you know, developers you know, that, you know, like, that told you, that made games where you had to be online to play it. The developers themselves should have made a like an update or an expansion to where, let's take Final Fantasy Online for a minute. Let's say Final Fantasy Online on the PlayStation 3. Let's say if you wanted to continue playing the PlayStation 3 version only, not the PS4 and not the PS5, right? You wanted to play the PlayStation 3 version of Final Fantasy. Then Square Enix should have let the PlayStation players play Final Fantasy online for the PlayStation 3 only, for those players who wanted to continue playing the game, or if they wanted to play it offline, then they should have provided an update. So the developers should have at least done that for people that wanted to play that game for what it is, play that game for what it is, for what the PlayStation 3 can handle. They're not worried about PlayStation 4. They just want to play the PlayStation 3 version only. Square Enix should have provided an update for that, to where people could continue playing the PlayStation 3 version. But they were forcing you now to buy a PS4 now, so you can continue playing the game, and then buying a PlayStation 5 so you can continue playing the game. So the developers they should have when they're close, when on certain games, if they're about to close the server down, then they should have provided an update or an expansion to where you could play that, you can continue playing that game offline, and then you have the options, like in a local match, to play against the computer and adjust the settings how you want, and then continue playing that game. That's what they should have done. But this goes back on the developer. You know, Activision. You know, they caught wind of this. They caught wind of this with after Modern Warfare 3, when they came out with the first 3 games on the 360. They caught wind of this, and they're like, okay. After that, they start making Call of Duty, and they start letting you play against the computer. So the developer, they do have a huge role in this when it comes to stop killing games. They do have a role, and if you're going to close the server down, then you should give the players the option to continue play those games on those systems. Let's say Microsoft decide to let's like I said earlier, like let's say they decide to okay, they're gonna take Forza Horizon 2, 3, and 4 offline on the Xbox One. Now, for people that want to continue to play that game offline on Xbox One, then Forza Horizon 2, 3, and 4 that's on the Xbox One need to be like Forza Horizon 2 on the 360, to where you can play it offline and complete the challenges and stuff like that. So this goes back to this goes back to the developer. Now, when it comes to like say your phones and your cell phones and I mean, like those have to. I mean, and you want to continue using. I mean, like continue using that phone or, I think like a year. What was it? A couple of years before the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken, where the government was telling them. I think Samsung. I think it was Samsung that was trying to get rid of the one. They weren't going to update the older phones. And I think the government had passed a law to where, people could still use their old phones because they didn't want to upgrade them. But I mean, as data increase on phones and hardware, they do. I mean, some of them do get old, but for the older phones that can handle that modern data, if they got the right piece of hardware for it, then the phone company should let you. They should be able to let you keep that phone. Let's say if you still got keep that phone and still use it. Let's say you got what's that? Like a Samsung, the world's first biggest phone, the Samsung Mega. Let's say if you still got that phone, then you should be, and you like the screen size and everything, then you should be able to still use that phone and should be able to still use it in 2024 with a new updated SIM card, that matches that hardware, a new updated version, and still use it. Just saying. So this goes back to the hardware manufacturers. When it comes to PCs now, of course you have to upgrade them. You can't what's that? You can't take like two like the RAM from like 1995 and then claiming that you're using it in 2024 to run like say Windows 10 or Windows 11. So when it comes to PCs, you have to upgrade your you have to have a lot of RAM in your computer to keep up with the data that's coming through the internet, and you have to upgrade your CPU and your storage. So part of it is the manufacturers. Part of the issue is the manufacturers. They need to address it more better, and then the other part now is the consumer. They need to like keep up with the time, so to speak. So yeah, but certain things you should be able to still use. When it comes to like as far as like gaming, or when it comes to video games, that goes back to the developers. They were trying to make it to where they were trying to make some games where you had to be online to play it. Okay, that's kind of understandable, but a lot of the other games, they should have put an offline feature in it. And this is where Activision comes in again, because when they made the first three Modern Warfare, when they made the first 3 Call of Duties, you couldn't play those offline. You could play those. You could do a multiplayer offline, but somebody else, another person, like your friend, had to play you in it. But they fixed that when it came to Advance and Ghost and Black Ops and Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3. They fixed them. When it comes to card games like the Crew now, when it comes the racing games, if you want to play them offline, they need to be like how Forza Horizon 2 is on the Xbox 360, so you can continue playing it offline. You know, they need to have that. You know, where you can like open up the complete your challenges, drive around the map by yourself or whatever. You know, they need to do that. You know, like in racing in racing games, and that will keep that game alive. You know, so when it comes to the Crew, Ubisoft need to, when it comes to taking that Crew offline off the server, then the Crew needs to be like how Forza Horizon 2 is on the 360, and that will fix the problem. You know, so like to save games though, sure. I mean, okay, sure. Some games you gotta have. I mean, sure, games got to be some games you gotta have them online to keep that online appeal. But then if you're gonna take that game offline, then you need to put an offline feature in the game before you shut the server down so people can continue playing. So that'll fix the problem, man. The same could be said for what's that? I think Anthem. If EA decide to take that game to close the server down on that game whenever that time comes, we need to be able to play that game offline, like we would do, like our Forza Horizon 2 on the 360 have it, where we can play offline, or like our Call of Duty Black Ops have it, like the first one, where like you can complete the story, but do a local. You can complete the story, or you can like do a multiplayer, or you can say take or do it like how they do it in Forza Horizon 2, where you can like fly all over the map. So when it comes to games like that, man, the developers, you know, they need to put an update in place so people that purchase those games, they can continue playing those games. You know, I think that's my thoughts on the whole thing. So let me know your thoughts and opinion on it. But that's what I think should happen. You know, when it comes to like live service games, they need to have an offline feature. Live service games need to have an offline feature in it before the server goes offline. They need to. They need to fix it. You know, I think that would fix the problem. Anyway, that's my thoughts and opinion on the whole situation. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and my explanation. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still Star Wars, start playing. Dark side. Come on. Peace.